Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Welcome to
pal.
welcome to our most recent membership launch. It's really nice to have you all joining us this evening. I'm Liam Evans-Ford, Executive Director at Theatre Clwyd.
And I'm Tamara Harvey, Artistic Director at Theatre Clwyd.
Now, just before we get started, Tamara Harvey, you're not in the office with me, you're not at home, but you're doing something rather exciting. And can you please tell us what you're doing?
Can't you tell from my special gear?
It looks like you're some sort of film director or something.
I totally am. Yeah, I'm on set. We're filming on location for the BBC have commissioned Isla, which is the Tim Price play that we did in Theatre Clwyd in the Emlyn Williams in the autumn. They've commissioned a 1-hour film of it. So today was our first day. So if I seem a bit discombobulated, that is why.
Just a normal day, Tamara.
Thank you very much. And in fact, Larry, who was our trainee director at Theatre Clwyd and our first Theatre Clwyd Khan trainee director with Fran Goodridge, Larry is our first AD on the shoot. So when she'll come and speak to us in a little bit about something very exciting that she's doing for us next. She's here with me in our glamorous location.
Is it a secret location?
No, it's not secret, but it's not necessarily exactly where the story is set. So I'm not going to say because then you won't know. Yeah, I'm going to stop talking.
Okay, but for all of you wonderful members joining us, we're expecting that to go out on BBC4 sometime June, July. It's scheduled for with the BBC, so it's really exciting because you don't.
Well, I was going to say the weirdest part of my day today was when we were figuring out how to mask a bit of a brand name on something that was going to appear in shot, because of course it's the BBC. So you suddenly realise we can't have any brand names. Why is it really exciting?
It's not often that your stage plays get adapted for TV, is it? No. Anyway, we're going to tell you about some upcoming live stage shows rather than what's going on the TV. I mean, first of all, just to mention, last time we had some technical problems. So if it doesn't go well, then it's all my fault. But hopefully you can see this lovely screen. We thought we might give you a bit of an update on a musical that we have been trying to share with you for the last 3 years, I think, probably, Tamara.
Yeah, so as you may remember, on the 16th of March 2020, when Boris Johnson told everyone to stop going to theatres, Milky Peaks, the premiere of Milky Peaks was about to happen in the Emlyn Williams Theatre, and we had to send the company home, but they are now back rehearsing with us. In fact, when you're sat in the office, you now get the wonderful tunes from the show drifting up through the building. And that is going to be our first produced show in the Mix.
So the Mix Theatre, which you can just see here, it's now open and operational. Just a quick thank you to all of you members who already visited our theatre village. We're calling it a theatre village that is hosting you, housing us for the next couple of years whilst we're going through this huge change that you've all been really supportive with already and continue to be. I hope you're enjoying the front of house facilities. We know there's lots of kind of learning that we've been doing over the first kind of 4 or 5 weeks of that, feeding the AHT, but now it also feeds the Mix Theatre. This is 270 seats end on. It's got almost 1,000 LED lights. It's like a spaceship has landed on top of our hill. It's a really, really beautiful space and really well suited for this production, Milky Peaks, which will be the first of our productions in the Mix.
And in case you don't know about it, so it's a musical theatre comedy. It's completely brilliant. It's by Sarah Davis, who grew up on Anglesey had an award. His last show was the award-winning How to Win Against History, and it's set in the fictional town of Milky Peaks in Snowdonia, and it starts with the St. David's Day parade and all unravels in the most spectacular way from there. And I think my favorite line, I'm actually going to sing, I think my favorite line from it so far is in the opening song when they're talking about how you get to Milky Peaks. And it goes something like, and to get there, you would have to change that crew, the greatest natural barrier on earth, which has to be just one of the best lines ever written in a musical.
It's a great line and beautifully delivered, although I can assure all members that the cast are a tiny bit more tuneful. But I'm really proud of you, Tamara. Anyway, we'll move on. Do you know what? It's good that our members support us, because they would not put up with this otherwise, would they? So we're here to talk about the summer season that we're announcing, and of course you're all getting a heads up on this because you're our wonderful members. And as you know, we continue to talk to you about subscription. This is when we put packages of shows together, and that you get deep discounts. So you get an extra 5% to the normal people of this world because you are members. So if you book 3 plus shows, you get 25%. If you book 5 or more shows, you get 30% off. So that's 5% more than everybody else. So do look for the ticket sign on the brochures when they come through, and also what we're talking through this evening. So to start off, we thought we might talk about our homegrown produced shows. Tamara Harvey, I think you're going to link into this.
Yeah, so we are very proudly presenting the world premiere of Celebrated Virgins, a story of the ladies of Llangollen. And this is the show that Eleri, who I mentioned earlier, Eleri Jones, who was our trainee, one of our first 2 trainee directors as the Theatre Clwyd Khan trainee director scheme. This is her kind of show at the end of her traineeship, which is a bit later than it would have been because of the pandemic. And she's going to jump in and just tell you a little bit about it.
Look at that, seamless. You didn't even see us move. That's what I thought, everybody. Great to have you with us. Thank you for coming and listening to a little bit about this show. So Celebrated Virgins is a new play by Katie Ellen Salt. And when I started at Clwyd, one of the first things that Tamara and I spoke about was, is there anything that inspires you that you'd like to think about doing for a final show? And I said, oh, actually, I did have an idea about 7 years ago that didn't materialise. But my family are from Llangollen. That's where I'm from. And I'd always been told this story about brave women who defied convention and left everything they knew behind to be together. And it's been a constant source of inspiration for me over the years. And it's not really well known. You know, even my other family in Wrexham haven't even heard about it, most of them. So it really is a piece of hidden history. And I think it's a really brilliant and brave time to bring it to the forefront in this very exciting new production. It's funny, it's about love, and it's about risking everything to be together and what that means in 1778. So I'm just so grateful, and so is Katie. I know that we've had so much amazing support from the theatre so far, and from Tamara particularly, and also from the Khan Trust as well, who've been supporting on this production. But yes, I hope you'll come and see it. Thank you so much. Diolch yn fawr.
Diolch, Eleri. And
I paid her a lot of money to say that.
Yeah, I obviously didn't pay her money because, I was here. She didn't even thank me, but, thanks, Eleri. I've got to say, we were at the design, one of the design meetings a couple of weeks ago, and it's looking really, really stunning as well.
Well, for those of you who saw the picture of Dorian Gray that we did online, the designer Holly Pigott is designing it, and she's done a beautiful job.
So next Theatre Clwyd production,
A Pretty Shitty Love. So this is this again is a world premiere by Kath Chandler, who wrote Thick as Thieves, that some of you may have seen. We did it as a co-production with Clean Break a few years ago. So Kath is an award-winning Welsh director, and we've commissioned her to work with Francesca Goodridge, our other trainee director. And this is a tale inspired by a member of Fran's family who was in a relationship down in Swansea on the bay, and it's the story of that relationship. And it's so again, it's about love. There's a theme emerging here, isn't it? But it's also about the what we will put up with in the name of love, I guess. And it's Kath's writing. Those of you who came to Curtain Up, you might also remember her writing from that. But she really beautifully captures contemporary stories always from a kind of slightly surprising angle, and this, I think, is going to be one of those. And Fran's also working with her design team to make it quite a kind of immersive experience as well in the mix.
Very good. And it's worth saying that Milky Peaks, after we've opened it here, goes on a tour of Wales, and Celebrated Virgins and A Pretty Shitty Love go down to play at Chapter Arts Centre in Cardiff. So as ever, we're taking our work and we're sharing it elsewhere in Wales and the UK, which takes us on to the next production, which I'll introduce, and then Tamara will talk a little bit more about because she's directing it. And it's one we've been working on for at least 5 years. Tamara's been working on for even longer. So the next production of ours is The Famous Five, a new musical. Musicals don't come about overnight. They take a lot of time and a lot of love and a lot of workshopping, actually, because there's so many elements to put together. Obviously, a very, very famous title by a very, very famous author, reimagined for the stage today. I'm really excited about it because I've kind of been working with Tamara and following her artistic process up until this point, and it's a brilliant creative team. So it's a co-production with Chichester Festival Theatre. We open it at Theatre Clwyd as world premiere, and then it transfers to Chichester. But Tamara, the team you've got on it already is extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And yeah, I've been developing this musical since before I got the job at Theatre Clwyd. So it's come with me, and I loved the books when I was a kid. So when the opportunity came up to do this, I absolutely seized it. And we've kind of taken as our inspiration in terms of the feel of it, the Paddington films, because that's that sense of we are setting it now, but in a now that is kind of doesn't exist, a now that we all wished existed somehow. And we've got Eleanor Cook writing the book of the musical, who wrote Pilgrims for us and Out of Love. And we've got Theo Jameson, who's a up-and-coming composer who had a musical on the BBC actually over lockdown, and Lucy Osborne, who designed The Assassination of Katie Hopkins and Uncle Vanya. We've got David White as our musical supervisor, who was also on Katie Hopkins, and Annie Lynette Deacon Foster is choreographing, who most recently choreographed Al Panto and also Pavilion. It's a really, and lots of other brilliant people. And we're hoping, what we're aiming for, it's so difficult to talk about something at this moment in the process, because it's when you start getting really nervous about whether you're going to get it right or not. But what we're aiming for is to create something that will absolutely tap into the love that people have for these characters in this story. So those who know it will have something to hold on to, old and young, but also you could come to it having never read the books, having never seen anything to do with the Famous Five, and also fall in love with it. And in fact, that's what happened to Theo. So Theo had never read any of the books, didn't really know it, and then read Eleanor's the script that Eleanor had started at that point, and really kind of thought, oh yeah, I know what to do with this, and has created a really brilliant tunes for it that are contemporary, but again, that just have a little nod to the past, I guess.
I cannot tell you all how excited I am about this one. So it's a must see. I mean, we say that about all of our work, but this one even more so. So those are the Theatre Clwyd productions that are part of the subscription. There's also, as always, visiting productions, some of which have been on sale already, but including the subscription, some of which are new. So the first is Boeing. If you haven't seen it, a production of it, you really ought to. It's a farce. It's high energy. It's hilarious. Visiting from the London Classic Theatre Company, who have brought us a number of productions, really good quality theatre company. So have a look at that.
The Rise and Fall of Little Voice. So some of you may have seen this when we did it a few years ago with the very brilliant Catherine Aaron. It's one of those shows that I think you can kind of see over and over again because it's such a heartwarming story, and also it has all of those amazing tunes in it. And it's if you don't know it, I guess it's probably like if you loved Brassed Off. If you're a fan, it's got kind of greatest hits parade. So it's got Judy Garland's songs and Shirley Bassey. Well, the lead actor, who in this case is Shobna Gulati, Shobna is playing the mum. In this case is Christina Bianco, has to do impersonations of all of these different singers. And so it's one of those that if you close your eyes, you could be in the room with. It's a really brilliant show.
The next is the King of Reggae. So anybody who watched Rush, A Jamaican Journey, it's the same company brought us that. I mean, it's a narrated musical celebrating the life and work of Bob Marley. A really, really good night out.
We have the National Dance Company of Wales and Ballet Cymru coming back to us. And we're really fortunate at Theatre Clwyd. Often the big dance companies won't come to smaller venues because either they don't have the wing space or there isn't a big enough capacity. We have, of course, our amazing stage with lots of wing space, and we also have a decent capacity. But these two companies, I mean, they're wildly different, but they are both really big players on the international stage. They tour internationally. They've got amazing reputation. Those of you who've been to see them before will know that. But they're worth trying out if you've not seen either of their work and fancy a bit of dance. And the Ballet Cymru is doing a piece based on A Midsummer Night's Dream. So it's a really good way in, I think, to ballet.
So that's those are all the shows that form part of our subscription for this season. There's of course lots of other shows, some of which we'll just cover now that aren't part of the subscription. This is already on sale. The Play That Goes Wrong. Again, it's one of those ones. If you haven't seen it, it's one of those beautiful stories. It started off. It was a group of friends of students who opened a show at Edinburgh Fringe, and then it's gone on to conquer the world, really. And we have had it with us before a number of years ago now, but it's just a great night out. Another farce, and everything goes wrong. And of course, it's gone on to have kind of status on TV and in film and in different settings. Peter Pan kind of enters their Play That Goes Wrong and all sorts of things. But this is a really good one and a good night out, and really bring your friends and family along who don't come to the theatre as much. This is the one that kind of is really accessible for people that don't think theatre is for them, because it's just it doesn't take itself seriously. That is the whole point of it.
So we've also got an evening of bilingual poetry and music from our national poet of Wales, Ivor ap Glyn, with Claire E. Potter, which is the thing I think is so amazing about our team, and we don't talk about them enough, but we have a programming team and they work really hard to ensure that there's a really diverse range of things for people to come and see. So we're jumping, aren't we, from dance to comedy to spoken word. And Ivor ap Glyn is just brilliant in performance. So yeah, come. It's very difficult, isn't it? Because we're just saying, book for this and this and this and this.
Yeah, but the great thing is, I think, with all of the members on this evening, they
do.
They usually do. That's why we love you so much.
And then Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet are coming to us from a company that Ben Locke. So those of you who've come to see our panto, Ben this year was the brilliant villain Barry Island, and this is Ben's company, who do kind of fast-paced, really ferociously energetic Shakespeare.
And then a few other things. So Lava, it's I've not seen it, but having heard about it, it's a a funny and moving story. It's about a boy and a girl meeting as asteroids head for London. Another love story. We've talked a lot about love stories this evening. This appears in the mix, and then Violet is. How do they describe it? A dystopian opera from Music Theatre Wales. This is with Welsh surtitles as well. And again, that breadth of programme that Tamara's talking about. Sorry, go on, Tamara.
Yeah, it's also worth saying with Violet, it's been written by the composer is Tom Colt, who's the current composer in association with the BBC Philharmonic, and the book is by Alice Birch, who is one of the most extraordinary playwrights that I've never worked with her. I would love to, but I've read a lot of her stuff and seen it. She did, so she wrote BBC's Normal People, if any of you saw that on telly, and she's just a brilliant, brilliant writer.
Great. So now, well, this is one of our favourite weeks of the year, isn't it?
Yeah. So the Family Arts Festival, it's for children and their families, and I love it because I get to bring my kids to work for a whole weekend. There's always loads to see, so we've got lots and lots of shows. We've got Horrible Histories coming. We've got My First Musical, which is a family sing-along by the team behind Welsh at the West End. But there's also always loads to do, so there'll be workshops, there'll be activities. There's usually kind of at least a bit of a place to try on costumes and scribble on things, whether it's, well, we don't have windows to scribble on anymore, do we? But there'll be no doubt be colouring and stuff. So it's just a really good opportunity for kids not only to see stuff but also to get involved.
Fantastic. So I think we've got a picture of seats now, and we're going to invite Sarah, who's part of our development team. Good evening, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you.
So as all members will know, we have a pretty major capital redevelopment happening, and there are numerous ways we're going to ask for people to support, and you've already been doing so brilliantly as members. But Sarah, do you want to talk about the SEAT programme? There's probably a better title for it than that.
The SEAT campaign, yeah. We're calling it Name a Seat. So yeah, we just wanted to let you know really that there's a really amazing opportunity as part of our capital redevelopment, as Liam was saying, and it's a huge kind of fundraising campaign, but it's not quite launched yet, although we wanted to make sure that our members knew about it at the moment. We've launched a new SEAT campaign, which will take place across all of our theatres. So the Anthony Hopkins Theatre, the Emlyn Williams Theatre, and actually in our cinema as well. So there is opportunities to sponsor seats in those three spaces, and we've made them really affordable. So they're £100 each. And they will be, although not yet, are available at £10 a month for 10 months as well. So we just wanted to make sure that everyone could afford one. I've not told anyone yet, but I'm doing one too, so that's fun. I'm going to quickly snap up my favourite seat. So we just wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity to do the same, and we've gone out to a small number of people that had already sponsored a seat in our auditorium already. So a couple of seats have gone in our auditorium, but mainly I think you'll be able to get your favourite seat if you were interested in that. Some of you might have really been eagle-eyed and spotted a few flyers around the theatre already and have signed up. I know a couple of them are members, so thank you for that already. But if you wanted more information about that, you can go on our website. We've got a good page now, which is called Raise the Roof, which is a drop down at the top of the website, where you can get all the information about the capital project, but also how to donate. There is a couple of other options as well, so have a look on there. There might be something that suits you. Tell your friends. We need to sponsor them all. There is loads of seats, so we really do need your help in promoting that as well. But if you have any questions about that, you can email me. My email address is on the website too, but we can let you have that as well.
Diolch, Sarah. And also, members, just to reiterate our thanks for your support as we go through these changes. We've talked to you about the capital programme previously. It is significant in scale and ambition, so that we protect your theatre, enhance your theatre, and all that it gives, and more into the future. It is worth saying that we'll give you a little kind of inside track on this, that Welsh Government will be publicly announcing this week their full funding for the project. It means that we already have £39.5 million in place for the redevelopment of Theatre Clwyd. It's a huge amount of money already, but we do have further to go. So what Sarah's talking about already is the first of lots and lots of little programs and projects and campaigns that we will be running, so that wherever people feel they can fit into it, they can support in their own way. And it's going to take a couple of years, and it will be, crikey, it sounds like a really overused word with such a kind of project, but transformative. It really will be. So if you've got any questions more widely about the capital project, contact Sarah or the team, or Tamara and I are happy to have a chat. And of course, the foundations are what you've told us you want for your theatre. We had 8,000 people feed into the consultation over a 2 or 3 year period. So it's very, very exciting. So thanks, Sarah, for giving members the inside track on that.
No problem. Thank you.
I guess the other thing, Liam, that we should say as well is thank you, Diolch, for talking to us already. We mentioned this at the beginning, but of course this period, whilst the building is being redeveloped, there are going to be ongoing changes, and you've already experienced it in terms of the temporary village. The mix has just opened. We're going to get, hopefully, a lot of things right. We'll get loads of things wrong as well, and then we'll do them better. And the best way for us to know what we need to work on and what we need to improve step by step is when you tell us. So thank you, Diolch, for those of you who've been in touch and said, oh, I found this a bit difficult, or this was really exciting, do more of this, or oh, the new bar's great, can you add a such and such? Keep talking to us, because that's the way that we'll all have a really brilliant time through this moment of redevelopment, as well as once we get into the shiny redeveloped building.
Yeah, it's very, very true. And there are a number of brilliant things that the team are kind of implementing because of your feedback. So just to reiterate that. 2 other small things before we say Nostar. First of all, just to acknowledge for all of you as members, we have also been announced that we will be running William Aston Hall in Wrexham. It's a 1,000-seat concert venue that has really struggled over the last couple of years. The previous commercial operators went into liquidation during the pandemic. Wrexham Glyndŵr, who are at a university, who own the venue, were looking for a partner who can really think about a wide and varied programme to fit that space. So we will let you know. There'll be some really, really exciting announcements. We're doing some test events this autumn. We're not rushing into it ahead of a full programme in 2023. So we'll let you all know about that. And of course, the team are reminding Tamara and I that jump onto the website, because for members, you're able to book all of these subscriptions and these productions that we've talked about this evening. And
Liam mentioned it earlier, but just to reiterate, it's brilliant that your members, we would love it if you would consider, and a lot of you already do, subscribing as well, because the subscription is the thing that allows us to keep doing things like the Famous Five and Celebrated Virgins and A Pretty Shitty Love. It's the stuff that is new and exciting that sometimes needs to be kind of held within a subscription in order for us to be able to be brave about our programming and program such a diverse range of things. So do subscribe, please, if you can.
Now, what was that, Tamara? You've got to get back to filming. Okay.
Oh yeah, darling, I've got to get to the shoot.
Well, if whilst you go and shoot, your BBC drama, if you could think about sponsoring a seat at Theatre Clwyd at the same time, that would be great.
Yes, I will. Yes.
Okay. Thanks all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again up at the theatre, in the village, in the mix, in the Anthony Hopkins very, very soon.
Diolch yn fawr. Nostar.
Bye.
Are we still there, Liam? I think we should be waving.
Well, I don't know. Craig's not going to tell us.